Okay, I see what happened. The case was filed last year by, what is her name? Her name is Ashley Parham. It was filed last year in October. But what happened was she recently amended her case and included Jaguar Wright in it and some other individuals. So when I come back, I will tell you guys some things that was told to me some time ago, but I just didn't speak on them because there was nothing out there to confirm it, other than some YouTubers who were talking about Jag and what they speculated, but it was nothing like, concrete. So when I come back, I'm gonna tell you about that, and I'm also gonna read the entire case to you guys. I'll be back. Hello everybody, welcome back, and all those good pleasantries. Let's get on with this. As I said, I was told by a few people that Jag was involved in the whole thing with Diddy, allegedly, that she was working or is working with him, and I have no idea why she's trying to, I don't know what the game plan was. I don't know why she came out on the scene supposedly putting Diddy and Jay-Z on blast when a few people told me that she was working for them or working with them. And like I said, there was nothing out. I didn't see anything online, anything that suggested that she was working for them. But I'm not saying these people were not telling me the truth. I just wasn't going to say anything because I didn't see anything, So now that this case came out and she's included in it, I'm going to speak on it. Somebody told me that she was the person that drove the girls to and fro to the parties. Somebody told me that allegedly one of the girls that she was transporting from the party OD'd in her car. She OD'd in the car that Jag was driving, and Jag stopped off somewhere and took care of the situation. That's allegations. That's what was told to me too. They also told me that she did some disturbing things, supposedly, with her loved one. Yeah, that's about it. And somebody was very adamant when they kept telling me that Jag was involved, that she was there at all the parties, and she was even there at some ritual. I asked this person, had they ever witnessed any sacrifice, people being sacrificed, not animals, but people. They said yes. And they said they alleged that she was there. Now, I'm only going by what was told to me. But it looks like a lot of stuff is coming out in the wash. And I just want to know if these things are true. If Jag was down with Diddy and Jay-Z all the time, what was the game plan? Why did y'all have Jag coming out speaking so reckless about these people, about Jag? Why did she come out speaking so reckless about Diddy and Jay-Z, and she was working with them all along? So that means when she first came out in 2020, y'all knew what was coming down the pipeline anyway. Y'all always knew that something was coming out. So y'all threw Jag in like to throw people off or something. A lot of stuff gonna come out. Watch. So, like I said, the things that I mentioned are allegations. Yeah. So let's get on with this case that was filed last year in 24, and which recently, I believe over the weekend, or probably over the weekend, the plaintiff included Jag in the case, and I think some other individuals. So let's get on with this. Okay, of course you see who filed the case. Sean Perez, Vegas. They're in Las Vegas, Nevada. Sean Perez Esquire. And the plaintiff is Ashley Parham, I believe that's how you say her name. The plaintiff is Sean Combs, P. Diddy, Puff Daddy, Love Puff, and Christina, Shane Pierce, John Doe's 1 through 3, and Jane Doe. So I guess Jane Doe was Jaguar. Let's go on. This is just the introduction. It says, this case involves S assault, battery, or S abuse, false imprisonment, and kidnapping. Defendant Diddy has been sued by countless individuals for crimes similar to the ones enumerated in this complaint. Okay, it's just talking about what Diddy KK is an employee of defendant Diddy, often referred to by defendant Diddy as his right-hand woman. Diddy's predatory behavior was constant and was well known by several individuals, including defendant Diddy's employees, staff, friends, family, and associates. In fact, Diddy's sons were being sued for engaging in the same type of deviant behavior as their father. I've been saying this all along. What I don't like is how people trying to act brand new. Like, oh my God, Diddy is, oh my God, I can't. You know damn well what that man was doing. Y'all know what he was doing. Diddy was able to, he evaded prosecution for over 30 years. His relationship with powerful individuals to force acts through exploitation, fear, manipulation, physical threats, emotional abuse, intimidation, and retaliation. Had any of the previous victims of defendant Diddy been taken seriously, or had any of the abettors like defendants KK, Shane, Jane Doe reported defendant or Diddy's actions to law enforcement, defendant Diddy's illegal and unfathomable behavior could have been prevented. Instead, Diddy was able to rain his abuse and terrorism on countless victims for over 30 years. Like I said, it was a whole lot of people involved. Due to defendants' agreement to participate in a corrupt enterprise, plaintiffs and countless other victims have been immeasurably and permanently harmed. Plaintiff alleges as follows: upon personal knowledge as to themselves and their own acts and experience, and as to all other matters upon information and belief, including investigations conducted by their attorneys, parties. Plaintiff is Ashley, defendant Sean, Christina, Shane, John Doe, Jane Doe. This court has personal jurisdiction over all defendants because they have purposely availed themselves, are residents of the state, and or were conducting business in California. And this lawsuit arises out of acts that occurred in California and relates to their contacts with California. Okay. Further, the pervasive culture of abuse, including assault or inappropriate touching and wielding power and control of a plaintiff, was a constant present when Diddy and the other herein named defendants engaged in the acts described herein. Plaintiff was harmed and injured in California by defendants. Okay, let's get on with the actual case. Let's go on. Physical and emotional trauma. When the perpetrator is someone a victim trusts, it could take years for the victim even to identify what happened to them as assault. For these reasons, it is self-evident that the unique nature of the emotional and psychological consequences. Okay, let's go on. Defendant's fraudulent concealment through active attempts to cover up caused the ongoing trauma plaintiff suffers. Okay, let's go on. Now let's get on to factual allegations coming to all counts. Plaintiff met defended Shane in February 2018 after an altercation with another man at a bar, and defended Shane came to plaintiff's rescue. I wonder if that was a setup. I wonder, because it was basically, she said that what happened to her was retaliation against her because she accused Diddy of being involved in the unaliving of Tupac. So I wonder if they set that whole thing up like, hey dude, I want you to go act like you're gonna get into it with her, and then I'm gonna come in, I'm gonna be the rescuer. You know what I'm saying? Let's go on. While outside the bar with friends and other patrons, defended Shane FaceTime video called defended Diddy and was showing people defended Diddy in a video on his phone, attempted to impress the people with his famous friend. Shane then showed plaintiff Diddy on his video call, which plaintiff ignored, stating she was not impressed by him knowing defended Diddy because she believed Diddy had something to do with the unaliving of rapper Tupac. Visible in the FaceTime call was defendant Diddy and some of his children, including his son, Christian Quincy. It appeared from the plaintiff's perspective, Diddy was having a get-together at his home during the time of the FaceTime call with Shane, defended Shane. Defendant Diddy heard plaintiff's statement and made a remark that plaintiff would pay for her statement regarding Tupac and overall dismissal of defendant Diddy. On March 23, 28, Shane invited plaintiff over to his home to assist him with his cancer medications because he stated he was weak and unable to open his medication. And if that's true, that he really has cancer, and he invited her over to set her up, you's an evil person. Sick, and you still gonna set somebody up? Upon plaintiff's arrival, defendant Shane informed plaintiff that he wanted to give her a ride in his new car. Plaintiff and defendant Shane left his residence for a brief period and then returned. Once they returned, defendant Shane left the door to his apartment partially open and stated that the door was ajar because there was an issue with the door where it couldn't close completely. What? Okay. Why you just didn't close the door and leave it unlocked? Okay. Defendant Shane was renting an apartment on the lower floor of a home in Orinda, California. Shane had a separate entrance into his residence that led to the backyard of the home. The home also had a main entrance on Loma Vista Drive. Defendant Shane rented the home from a woman who lived in the upstairs portion of the home and had 2 dogs who resided with her. Plaintiff and defendant Shane then began to watch a movie, and defendant Shane offered her a glass of water, which he retrieved and brought back to plaintiff. Approximately 10 minutes after plaintiff and defendant Shane returned from their drive, defendant Diddy entered defendant Shane's residence. Diddy entered the home in a grand, ready-to-party manner. His grandiose entrance was so loud that the dogs upstairs began barking. Diddy did not enter the home through the backyard entrance, but instead through the main entrance. Along with Diddy was his bodyguard, a woman who plaintiff later identified as defendant KK, another woman, small, skinny build, early 30s with blonde, mid-lip hair, so plaintiff has still been unable to identify Jane Doe. Okay. Defendant Doe 2, who upon information and belief is a friend of defendant Shane and Diddy and defendant Diddy's driver. Doe 3, who remained outside and in his vehicle during the duration of plaintiff's assault. Okay, so where does Jag come in this? I guess I got to keep reading, right? Plaintiff believes defendant Shane invited her over to set her up to be assaulted. Okay, here's the thing. Let me see. Let me find an article that I found. No. It was an article I found that said that Jag was included in the amended suit. So, just in case. Where was she included? I didn't see nothing. Okay, let me get the article. Is this it? Okay, well, it's online. Y'all can see it. I'll probably insert a title to some article because I can't find it right now. Okay, here it is right here. Woman adds Druski, Odell Beckham Jr. and Jaguar Wright to Diddy's sexual lawsuit. This was published 2 days ago. So let's get back to the suit. Okay. Plaintiff believes defendant Shane invited her over to set her up. Duh. Because of the statement she made about Diddy. Upon Diddy's arrival, he immediately began to antagonize the plaintiff, stating that she thought she would never see him in person, pay for her statements about Tupac during a video call, and that Diddy caught plaintiff. Plaintiff was in shock, as she never believed that she would ever see or meet Diddy in real life, let alone in a small apartment rented by defendant Shane. Diddy then began advancing towards where plaintiff was sitting on Shane's bed with a knife and held it to the right side of plaintiff's face and threatened to give her a glass-glow smile in retaliation for her previous statements on the video call. Diddy, KK told defendant that she did not think giving plaintiff a glass-glow smile would be advantageous to her personal clients who they could sell plaintiff for sex. Wow. Defendant KK then made a threat to plaintiff that they could ship her off anywhere in the world and that she would never see her family or anyone she knew again. KK was like a mobster, right? Defendant Shane then partially undressed plaintiff. Then defendant Diddy removed the remainder of plaintiff's clothing, removing the knife from her face, and then retrieved a bottle of liquid. I remember this now. Okay. He put it all over her. She was being squirted with a chemical substance like acid. Plaintiff soon realized that the substance was oil, lubricant. Plaintiff was squirted with this liquid substance over the entirety of her naked body. What? KK was then told by defendant Diddy to insert what looked like a syringe from sterile packaging into plaintiff's vagina. What the? KK did as told and then told Diddy that she was unable to see the IUD because it had permanently been released from its packaging. What? Diddy, upset by this, took the syringe from defendant KK and tried inserting it in plaintiff's vagina instead. KK and Diddy began to argue as KK continued to advise Diddy that since the IUD had been permanently released from its packaging, it was no way they could insert it into plaintiff's vagina effectively. After some time, defendant Diddy heeded the advice of defendant KK and removed the syringe from plaintiff's vagina and handed it to KK. KK and Jane Doe then exit Shane's residence, leaving plaintiff alone with Diddy, Shane, and 1 and 2. Diddy then picked up a television remote that was near plaintiff and violently inserted it in the plaintiff. My God. Diddy, while violently arming plaintiff with a television remote, told plaintiff that her life was in his hands and that he could take her and she would never be seen again. Plaintiff began hysterically crying from the threats by Diddy, along with the pain of being violently VR'd by Diddy with a television remote, as well as the lingering pain from the ordeal from the IUD syringe insert. Oh my God. You know what? This dude supposedly got upset because of what she said about Tupac, that he had to, okay. Diddy then instructed defendant Shane to turn plaintiff on her stomach, seemingly tired of hearing the plaintiff's blood-curdling screams. Shane then grabbed plaintiff by her abdomen and hips and turned plaintiff on her stomach. Diddy then instructed Shane to put a pillow over her head because he didn't want to see her face or hear her cries, and instructed defendant Shane to anally R plaintiff. Diddy then violently R plaintiff anally after defendant Shane. After he did it, defendant 2 then joined defendants Diddy and Shane, taking a turn anally. Oh my God. Immediately after defendant 2 R plaintiff, he exit defendant Shane's residence. Diddy then instructed defendant Doe to also R plaintiff. Instead of immediately R'ing plaintiff, defendant 1 doused plaintiff with more oil lubricant and then jumped on top of plaintiff naked and oil body, treating it like a slip and slide. Okay, so that was allegedly is Druski. Knocking the wind out of her. Defendant 1 then caught himself from sliding over plaintiff's oil body and off the bed. He then began R'ing plaintiff vaginally. While defendant 1 was R'ing plaintiff, Diddy sat in a chair near the bed and began massaging his member while recording plaintiff R by defendant 1. Another party's phone fell on the bed near plaintiff. Plaintiff then attempted to grab the phone, but it slipped out of her hands and on the floor due to the oil lubricant, and then being doused all over her person by Diddy and Doe 1. Defendant Diddy began laughing at plaintiff's attempt to grab the phone. Throughout this violent gangbang style R, defendant Diddy made constant belittling remarks to plaintiff, including that he owned her now. Plaintiff's body was becoming more and more limp over the course of the violent R until eventually she had no control over her body, nor could she move her body. When defendant 1 finished R'ing plaintiff, defendant KK entered the room to examine the condition of plaintiff, who was barely able to move or control her bodily functions. Defendant KK examined plaintiff to see if she needed assistance and was about to give plaintiff an IV fluid. Plaintiff cannot be certain is she did or it said certain is she did or did not receive such intravenous intervention. Defendant KK then opened a different bag, different than the one Diddy removed the oil from, where plaintiff observed several medicine bottles, IV fluid bags, and other identifiable powder-like drugs. KK then removed a pill from one of the medicine bottles and gave it to defendant Diddy. Diddy then inserted the pill into plaintiff's mouth and down her throat to where plaintiff had no choice but to ingest the unknown pill. Diddy, Shane, KK, and Doe 1 then exit the residence to the backyard where they smoke the green stuff and cigarettes. Plaintiff remained in an almost lifeless state in Shane's bedroom until she finally regained her bodily functions. Plaintiff then began looking for her clothes and her purse that contained her car keys and cell phone, but could not discover them in the room or anywhere in the apartment. Plaintiff was only able to find a t-shirt on the floor where she put on to cover her naked body. Plaintiff also observed a black condom wrapper on the floor of the bedroom, which she assumed was used by one of the defendants, most likely defendant Diddy, during the R. Plaintiff then grabbed a knife from the kitchen and headed to the backyard where the defendants were smoking, as that was the only way to exit the premises onto the street. Plaintiff concealed the knife on her left side as she exited the apartment to the backyard. Upon coming to the exit of the home, which led to the backyard, plaintiff was met by Doe 1, who was standing at the door between the residence and the backyard. By the time plaintiff was able to compose herself and come to the backyard, KK was no longer in the backyard, but upstairs on the patio balcony with defendant Jane Doe. Doe allowed plaintiff to walk to the backyard where defendants Shane and Diddy were smoking. Defendant Doe did not see the knife that plaintiff concealed on her left side, as it was obstructed by the oversized t-shirt plaintiff was wearing. Plaintiff observed Diddy still partially nude from the assault, while Shane and Doe 1 had on their clothing. Defendant Shane then left to the upstairs portion of the balcony where defendant KK and Jane Doe were already situated. Plaintiff then sat down on a makeshift seat in the backyard when Diddy noticed her presence and remarked that he was surprised she was able to walk because he had given her enough drugs to take out a horse. Plaintiff then asked Diddy what he gave her, and he laughed and did not provide a response. Diddy then made further comments to plaintiff in a jovial, friendly manner, asking her why they hadn't partied together before, because it was so much fun and he hadn't had any ass that tight in a while. Wow. Defendant 1 then quipped at Diddy that he probably hadn't had any ass that tight because he's not used to having anal sex with women, which Diddy and Doe 1 laughed. Oh my God. Because he's not used to having anal sex with women. Oh my. Plaintiff then told Diddy she did not party with him and she did not enjoy partying with him and that he awed her. Diddy did not like plaintiff's response to his lighthearted commentary and offered plaintiff money and instructed plaintiff to say that the violent R was consensual and that plaintiff was a S worker. Plaintiff became enraged and yelled at Diddy that her R was not consensual, she was not an S worker, and she refused to take any money from him and would tell the police. Why would you do that? Why would you tell all those people there and you just, I'm going to tell the police? Okay, let's go on. Diddy then told plaintiff no one would ever believe she had been R by him, and if she did tell anyone such, that they would harm her family. Defendant Doe 1 then showed plaintiff his phone, which looked as if it was outside of plaintiff's estranged sister's residence, as she could see her sister sitting on the couch and her sister's spouse on the balcony. It looked as if someone was outside the residence streaming this video to defendant's 1 phone. Oh, these people was no joke. Plaintiff, while rattled by what she was seeing on defendant's 1 phone, was still angry about being ganged R and was not complying with Diddy's request to take the money being offered to say she was R, to say the R was consensual. Defendant Diddy then called his mother in an effort to, hold up. Defendant Diddy then called his mother in an effort to further convince plaintiff not to not to report her assault. Defendant Diddy's mother yelled at plaintiff to not hurt her son. Plaintiff told Diddy's mother that her son had violently awed her. Diddy's mother, seemingly unfazed by the statement, then continued her demands with plaintiff to take the money being offered and to not report the R to law. Oh my God. Defendant Diddy then made further threats that he had gotten off from bigger crimes and referred to Tupac again, further antagonizing plaintiff. Defendant Doe 1 then turned to defendant Diddy and pulled his gun on him, asking him to repeat what he said in reference to Tupac. Somebody said that this guy was CC, the one who pulled the gun out on Diddy. That's what, I heard a video of somebody reading this and they included his name, CC. Let's go on. As the two of them were exchanging words, plaintiff then went behind defendant Doe 1, where he seemingly began to protect plaintiff. Defendant Doe 1 then advanced to Diddy, questioning him over the comments he made about Tupac. During this commotion, a neighbor directly across the street came outside and peered into the backyard and asked what all the commotion was about. Defendant 1 then pointed the gun at the neighbor and instructed him to mind his business and return to his residence. Defendant 1 then turned the gun back to defendant Diddy. Plaintiff, not far behind defendant 1, tried to grab defendant 1 hand that had the gun. Then the gun went off and hit a hill behind defendant Shane's residence. Diddy then ran up the back stone stairs near the hill to the backyard towards where Diddy, KK, Shane, Jane Doe were. Plaintiff charged towards Diddy, moving the concealed knife from her left hand to her right and in pursuit of defendant Diddy. Plaintiff then pushed Diddy from behind while on the stone stairs outside, causing him to fall with his back to plaintiff. Plaintiff then raised the knife in a rage from the events that just transpired and with the intent of driving the knife into Diddy's back when he turned around and began pleading for his life. Plaintiff, shocked now to see Diddy acting as a victim, had a moment of clarity and then turned and ran down the outdoor stone staircase back out to the backyard to escape. Diddy then chased plaintiff down the stairs and attempted to push her, but she was already at the bottom of the stairs and gained her footing and wielded the knife at Diddy, grazing his abdomen. Hearing the commotion, defendant KK and Jane Doe emerged, and defendant KK then began administering first aid to defendant Diddy for the injuries caused by plaintiff. Plaintiff tried to make quick dash for the exit, but was thwarted by defendant 1. After a period of time, plaintiff was able to abscond from defendant 1 due to the first aid commotion with Diddy and was able to run down the street. Once plaintiff made it to the street, she began yelling loudly for someone to call the police. Defendant 1, who had now caught up to plaintiff, advised plaintiff that he was an undercover cop. To this day, plaintiff is unsure of the truth or falsity of the statement. The same neighbor then again emerged from his residence asking what was transpiring. Just as plaintiff was attempting to answer, gunshots began being fired in plaintiff's direction. Wow. Even in front of a witness. Plaintiff fled to a car near where the neighbor was also taking cover and lost sight of defendant 1. Plaintiff then heard an SUV screeching and speeding, leaving the residence. Plaintiff then entered the home of the neighbor, who informed her that he had already called police. Plaintiff informed the neighbor that it was Sean Combs who had ordered her and shot at them, but the neighbor was unaware who Diddy was. I already know what his community was. Shortly thereafter, a sheriff from the Contra Costa Sheriff's Department arrived at the neighbor's home. Plaintiff told sheriff she was or had been violently gang argued by defendant Diddy and others, that she did not have her clothes, phone, purse, car keys, or cell. The sheriff told plaintiff and the neighbor that they had received several noise complaints prior to the neighbor's call and instructed plaintiff to find a way to get home. Wow. That's crazy. The sheriff did not offer to take plaintiff home, nor did he call for emergency services, including an ambulance, nor any offer to take plaintiff to the hospital, nor any offer to help plaintiff recover her clothes or effects from defendant Shane's residence. The neighbor offered to let plaintiff sleep on his couch until she could figure out a way to get her possessions and get home. Why the neighbor didn't drive her home? But plaintiff declined and only remained at the neighbor's residence for a short period of time. Once the sheriff left, plaintiff then went back to defendant Shane's residence, where she found the door open and her clothes were readily accessible in his residence. Shane then emerged as if nothing had transpired and offered for plaintiff to stay at his residence while she slept. Plaintiff asked for her purse and her keys, but defendant Shane told her she shouldn't leave in her condition, and plaintiff, catatonic and in a state of shock and disbelief of the events that transpired, stayed at defendant's home while defendant Shane left. What? She had her phone, right? Let me go back. Recovered her clothes or effects. Okay, so she got her stuff. So why didn't she call? Oh, she was in a state of shock. Okay. But she stayed at the house where this violent R transpired with the dude. She stayed in the dude's house who set her up. Okay. Yeah, I can't get that. I can't grasp that right now, because if I had to sit out on the curb with my phones and my keys and everything in my hands, I wouldn't have went and stayed in that man's house, because I would have been thinking that all he was going to do is call Diddy them back. Later that morning, Shane returned to the residence and woke plaintiff up and finally gave her back her purse. Oh, okay. She didn't have it. Keys, and plaintiff left defendant's residence. In a daze, plaintiff returned home and tried to make sense. Okay, but she still stayed in the house though. Okay, but she did call the police and didn't get no help. And then the neighbor asked her if she was in the situation. I probably would have stayed in the backyard. In a daze, plaintiff returned home and tried to make sense of what happened. March 26, 2018, plaintiff contacted her primary care doctor and asked for a HIV and STD test in fear of possibly having contracted the disease from her violent R. Plaintiff tried to continue her life as she felt she wouldn't be believed, as plaintiff already had told Contra Costa Sheriff Defendant Diddy awed her to no avail. Further, plaintiff was under the impression if she did continue to say Defendant Diddy's name in relation to her assault, she would not be believed and her family would be in danger. I can get that. I understand that part. Seemingly mere days, maybe even the day before plaintiff's vicious R, Defendant Shane had miraculously began driving a new car. Plaintiff believed this was payment by Diddy for setting her up. A few weeks later, April 2018, plaintiff, still in pain and reeling from the horrific assault, went to the hospital as her injuries had not subsided from the assault. The hospital conducted several tests on plaintiff, including an R kit, ultrasound, and x-rays. Additionally, plaintiff was given IV fluids to stabilize her vitals as she was in a severe weakened state from being unable to eat and losing a substantial amount of weight since the R occurred. And all this is documented. So, obviously she has proof. While at the hospital, plaintiff told members of her treatment team about her horrific assault, and they then contacted the Walnut Creek police. Walnut Creek police showed up at plaintiff's hospital room and took a statement regarding her assault. Plaintiff had already told Contra Costa Sheriff about her R and that it was Defendant Diddy who orchestrated it on March 23, 2018, which was ignored. Plaintiff declined to refer to Diddy again to Walnut Creek police because she believed she would be ignored by the police, just as she was by the sheriff. R would be further harmed by Diddy if he discovered she named him. Okay. Plaintiff believes her statement made to Creek police while at the hospital was captured by police body camera footage. Plaintiff further believes her statement made to the Contra Costa Sheriff on March 23rd, immediately after the vicious assault, where plaintiff named defendant directly and by name was captured on police footage. Plaintiff also reported to the Orlando Police Department on April 17th, but again was too afraid to name Diddy. During this report, plaintiff provided her clothing to the police from the night of the assault, but only retained her underwear. To date, the underwear was never returned, and plaintiff believed no investigation. Oh my God. Plaintiff sought assistance from therapists in May 2018, one of which tried to have her therapy appointments covered by a victim's compensation fund, which was rejected because plaintiff was told no law enforcement agency had opened an active investigation into any of her many reports of the violent gang R. Subsequently, thereafter, plaintiff asked police for a copy of her report from the Walnut Creek Police Department on July 19, 2018. Plaintiff was provided a letter from the Walnut Creek Department stating that it was unable to furnish this information as it was confidential and not subject to public release. And it was her report. Wow. March 2024, plaintiff was re-traumatized by all the events surrounding Diddy, including the several civil complaints filed against him as well as the raid. Plaintiff called Contra Costa Sheriff again in hopes of renewing her previous complaint and amending it to ensure Diddy's name was included. Plaintiff received no response. Okay, plaintiff in July 2024 then emailed the chief of the sheriff's office regarding her complaint, lack of investigation, and how she was treated by an initial responding officer. Plaintiff then later received a call back from the detective, but then nothing further. Plaintiff then began seeking legal counsel for her claims, ultimately being referred to undersigned for representation. Wow. Okay. Undersigned counsel also attempted to get a copy of the 2018 police report from Contra Costa Sheriff, but was told that they would not provide the report or any other information without a subpoena. This is crazy. And then this is just listing the first call to actions, the actions that they're, bringing to complaint. Jesus Christ. Diddy sexual abuse and cover-up enterprise engaged in and affected interstate commerce. Okay, that's all it is. So I'll just include a copy of this whole complaint. And as I said, the reason why it's coming back up is because the plaintiff amended the complaint and added Jaguar Wright name and I guess somebody else's name. Like I said, I heard somebody reading it and I heard them mention CC was the guy that pulled out the gun on Diddy when he said something about Tupac. Okay, folks, this is like I said, I'm not shocked at all. I'm not shocked. And yeah, more is gonna come out. More is going to come out. And now I wonder what now that Jaguar Wright is included in this complaint, I wonder what she going to say. How she going to cover this up and make it seem like, it's a conspiracy to take her down. How's she going to cover this up? How can she prove that she wasn't there? That's the question. Yeah, I want to hear what's going to happen now. This is crazy. All right, folks, like I said, I'll include a copy of this complaint in the description. And Ariel, she is the attorney. And I heard some things about her, too. But I'm not going to say it right now. But if I was that young lady, I would find another attorney ASAP. For real. For real, for real. All right, folks, thank you for your time and attention. Thank you to those who rocked out to the end of this video. And I will see you again in the next video. Take care. Thank you so much.